Most of my stuff is emotionally based. Today is going to be very emotionally based. Today is going to be about a 13, the debate of that is 14, 13-year-old boy from Pickering, Ontario, suburb of Toronto, just a little north, a little east, who at 3 or so in the afternoon yesterday, so the 29th of May, stabbed to death out front of her home a senior. Now, yesterday it was reported she was 78, 80 years old. We're not quite sure now how old she is. I don't think it really fucking matters. I don't think it matters how old she was. Senior. I don't think it would have mattered if she was 15 or 14. What's going on? Why do you have a knife in the first fucking place? What's going on at home? That this kid is outside with a knife and had those intentions to begin with. What did he need a knife for? Does he have a job that knife is necessary? Now, yesterday we talked about Canadians not having the right to defend themselves. That's true. We do not. You are supposed to allow yourself to be victimized. And in yesterday's case where this lady was killed, she did the right thing. She allowed herself to be killed. So she did not break the law. She's 100% did the right thing. Ain't that fantastic? We can all show up, give her a big POV, pat on the back. Unfortunately, she'll be in a casket and we won't be able to do that. So I wonder if the Prime Minister will get on TV and congratulate her for following the fucking law. Or if they'll say that the 13-year-old was slightly, manic or depressive. He wasn't quite in his right mind. No, I'll give you what he was. He was an animal. The police won't say it because they're polite. The parents won't want to admit to it because they know they've done a bad job. The news aren't going to say it because, well, they work for the government. And the government aren't going to say it because they know that they are terrible. Look what they've done to the state of the country over the last dozen years. The kid was a goddamn animal. And had Grandma had the opportunity to defend herself, she should have put one right between his eyes. He was an animal. Nothing more. And with an animal, you just put it down. I don't care how old he was. This is exactly why the citizens of this country need the opportunity to defend themselves. Because the government isn't doing it for us. The police chiefs of this country have come forward already, years ago, and said the honest gun owners of this country are not a problem. Each province has a chief firearms officer. What the hell job do they do? You've taken firearms away from us. We barely have black powder and the odd shotgun now. Semi-automatics are gone, pistols are gone. Turn everything in that you've spent thousands of dollars of money and just turn it all in. Not allowed to have it. We're taking it away from you and destroy it. Or if it's really cool, maybe it's in their basement. You know, the people that are protected by guys with guns? Yeah, those guys, they're the ones making the rules. Best for thee, but not for you. You're goddamn pitiful. That's what you are. You're goddamn pitiful. You're a sorry sack of crap. Please, whatever you do, do not show up for G7 in Alberta. Don't. Speaking of that, you've got CPS, Calgary Police Service, running around here doing practice, which I understand they need that, but they're putting frickin' citizens at risk running around at high speed with their lights on. What happens if they end up getting into an accident, which they will? I can understand that because they're weaving in and out of traffic with their lights and sirens on. What do you say to the family if they end up hurting somebody or, God forbid, killing somebody while they do this practice for you elite turds? Oops, sorry. Didn't see that coming. You know, here's a couple of $1 million. That ought to make you feel better, you poor. How about you just shuttle yourself off to the moon and stay there for a while? Or at least, a year after the oxygen runs out. Ought to be good enough for the rest of you. 13, 14-year-old boy stabs a Cedar citizen to death last night in Pickering, Ontario. Good Lord. Why? Every single bloody parent who heard that story last night had best be going into their room of their sons and their daughters this morning and having a look. There better be an open door policy in their house from now on. Have a look through their bags, have a look through their drawers, because God help it if it's their sons and their daughters the next day or the week after that. Things have gotten vastly out of control as of late. It needs to bloody change. If you're not going to be part of the change, then you're part of the problem. If you're going to be part of the problem, ship yourself to Ontario. At least we'll know where all of you are. We can just build a big, beautiful wall. We'll set it up at the edge of Manitoba. We'll set the other one somewhere in the mountains. We'll all live happily in between. Don't worry, Northern BC. We'll take you in. Getting tired of this jazz. Gotta drink the aspartame and not the real sugar. Gotta have some chemicals, I guess. So what new excuse do you think they're gonna give him? They're gonna make up a new word? I think animal still works. It's an old one. It's a goodie. You know, back in the 80s, we used to have fist fights. Today, 4 or 5 kids fight one guy, get him on the ground, and stomp him until he's in a paraplegic or he's in a coma. Nobody knows when to stop. In the years before that, they still had gun racks. Kid bring shotgun because it's just sitting in the truck. Nobody thought to steal it. Nobody thought to use it. Even if there was a fight, nobody thought to use it. Nobody thought to disrespect teachers. Nobody thought to stab a senior just for the hell of it or whatever reason he came up with it in his head. You know, the people that disrespected people in stores, there was maybe one or two in an entire high school that did that, and they were swiftly dealt with. Now there's one or two that actually act like a decent human being, and the rest are assholes. When did that make that big of a switch? Now you see people crying and gagging on their own snot for not having a safe place at work to sit down for 5 seconds because they've done 5 minutes of work. You got people screaming and crying because they want equal pay for equal work. That's fine. Go get an oil derrick. Well, no, I don't want to get my hands dirty. Well, okay, well, go work, as a longshoreman. Again, I don't want to get my hands dirty. I just, I want to do reception work, but I want to make $200,000 a year. I'm sorry that your liberal arts degree isn't going to get you what you want. Go to trade school. Become a plumber. That's gross. Well, I took, transsexual basket weaving. Yeah? What job are you getting with that? Sure, 7-Eleven is hiring for that. All right. 12 minutes and I've had enough. Goodbye.